All right, come join Kyle, John, and David as they go through what's on the playlist. Find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest. In and out points, no celebs and the gossip. Back in time where we're talking about the big M's, coming attractions, what the queue. Quick checks, who'll be laughing? You abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast you can hear all latest in television and entertainment news with too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and a third one is
Kyle Bridger. I will say that I am the Weird Al to John's Dr. Demento to Dave's Madonna. You're trying to kill me, dude.
Still on the run after all these years. I'm out there. Watch out, watch your backs. Yeah, I thought you were just gonna be like, I'm the Weird Al to your weirder Al to your weirdest Al.
Yeah, could have.
Yeah, it's good.
Could have done it.
Tonight's definitely going to get weird. We're gonna break down the Roku channel original movie. Weird.
They're selling light bulbs in the commercials, people.
Oh my god, yeah. Lots of commercials. No commercials on Dual Redundancy yet, so you don't worry about that. We'll go right to this first segment, which is
in and out points.
In, or the out.
In, or the out. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, or the out.
Coincidentally, pretty much all of our in and out points tonight are kind of all about streaming and apps, and it's like they're the in and out points. I guess the movie, the coming attraction, they're all in this kind of world here. Let's start off with this Variety cover story. This week they had one on filmmakers Joe and Anthony Russo, and while they've been working on streaming films recently, they may be returning to Marvel's parent company Disney for a very special live-action adaptation of Disney's 1997 animated film, Hercules. And now this film will be produced by the Russos and directed by Guy Ritchie, who did the live-action remake of Aladdin. And if that wasn't crazy enough for you, they say this film will also be a bit more experimental in tone, a bit more experimental in execution, and you're probably wondering how so. Quote, this from one of the Russos. There are questions about how you translate it as a musical. Audiences today have been trained by TikTok, right? What is their expectation of what that musical looks and feels like? That can be a lot of fun and help us push the boundaries a little bit on how you execute a modern musical. Hercules, the TikTok musical. Kyle, you in?
I still don't even know what that means. They just said made like word salad to try and sell something. They're like, oh, you guys know TikTok, right? Well, hey, Hercules maybe. And it's like, what does that even mean? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, I don't know what that means, honestly.
That is literally what they said. They're like, audience today have been trained by TikTok, right? You're asking us. You're the one pitching the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what they're going for here, but maybe they're letting the TikTokers cast the movie. I don't know.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like they're just using buzzwords these days with all these projects and news stories just to catch attention. Like, this is going to be an NFT marketing universe, metaverse thing. Well, stop. Just make a movie. Yeah. What's wrong with movies? They've been around for a bit. They're pretty good. I like a few. John, are you going to be watching the Hercules TikTok musical?
Is this going to be filmed in vertical?
Maybe. That's maybe what the inspiration is. Maybe.
They're bringing back Quibi. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, if Quibi showed us anything, that it's like, doesn't work. Like, get it on an actual platform, do it long form like everyone else. I'm assuming it's not going to be a 2-hour TikTok. I'm pretty sure they're capped by like 30 seconds or something, right? So I don't know. It sounds like you're taking.
It's still going to be a theatrical movie, but like it's going to be just inspired by TikTok.
Is Hercules going to be like a modern day Hercules, and he's like looking at his phone? Is that what it's gonna be? Is it
It's
modern
just like
day?
a stone. It's like they'll do a play on BlackBerry something or other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got a comment in the chat, a movie with only 30-second clips and you have to scroll through to see the next scene. It's like, yeah, are you like maybe bored? And then you could be like, do your hand motion in the theater. Next,
Yeah.
next. I don't like this one. Oh, go back, go back. I go back. But I don't get it. It's just, yeah, it just is they're using these buzzwords, and it's just there's been a lot of discussion from this article, and also like there's been a lot of I guess
So
I don't know what. Well,
it's inspired by TikTok, but not actually platformed on TikTok.
no, that's the thing.
Yeah. That's
It's a
what I
Guy
was saying.
Ritchie
It
film
doesn't
in
mean
theaters.
anything.
Oh, it was an actual film. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what?
Yeah.
Then what's
Yeah,
what's the relation to TikTok?
That's what I was saying. Is it's a bunch of word salad
they're
to make it
using
sound good.
I thought they were gonna
TikTok
platform
as
it on
an
TikTok.
inspiration
Oh my god.
because that's what kids like, right? Question mark, question mark, question mark. But yeah, so there's been a lot of discussion from this statement, and also just like their past comments from the Russo brothers, because it's been like this whole thing about the theatrical experience and if it's here to stay or not. They hyped it up obviously for all their Marvel films and for Endgame. Oh, theatrical has to be in the theater. But then their next two films, Cherry was for Apple TV Plus, The Gray Man for Netflix, and now they're like, even in this article, yeah, theatrical experience a little bit antiquated, getting irrelevant. It's not really there. But then, like, isn't this going to be probably in theaters? Are you going to now go? Oh yeah, no, theaters are now back. They weren't for that 2020 to 2024 time frame, but now in 2025 they're back, and you got to see Hercules on the big screen. Maybe I'm just a little jaded. I don't know if this is going to be a hot take. I want the good and bad and watchable to sit down. I'm worried what they're going to think about this. But are the Russo brothers even all that good outside of Marvel?
Uh-oh.
Because let's look at okay, I'll say here, I am not a filmmaker, but I wonder if you handed the keys to like Endgame to any other director, I think it still would have made $3.6 billion or whatever it was.
Too
Like,
big to fail.
Probably.
That movie was going to make money. And then like you look at like their next projects after, like who's talking about Cherry? 37% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Gray Man, I guess, came out, was a huge $200 million Netflix blockbuster. Does anyone care about that movie? Another 46% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What's the Gray Man? The one with Chris Evans? Or is that a different one?
That answers my question right there. Like,
Yeah.
let's see. The Gray Man is well, it's Ryan Gosling is at least the main role here. And
Yeah,
Chris
and
Evans
Chris
is the other
yeah.
guy. Yeah.
All right, I did see that. Yes,
Okay.
I did see it. It was more like just your typical Netflix like shooter.
I guess that answers my question. Good and bad and watchable. You know where I am. You can at me on this one. Everyone else, forget about it. But yeah.
I'm just more worried that while they're saying inspired by TikTok and more experimental, they're gonna make this like a modern day Hercules. We're gonna see Hercules in the modern day somehow, and I don't know. Is he trying to create TikToks?
He's gonna be making stupid faces and dancing the whole movie.
Yeah.
Zeus talker. It'll be like some kind of, I don't know my Greek gods. I'm sure they'll have a pun with one of them.
He has to find his way because all he is addicted to TikTok, and he has to realize he is the hero he was always meant to be.
Yeah. It's not about being an influence, being so strong, and about the physical appearance and looking good as a model here, as this big, strong Hercules. It's about what's on the inside that counts.
It's about how many subscribers you have.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, there's films that are, I guess, being inspired by TikTok, but can you base a film on OnlyFans? That's my transition to a story about comedian Whitney Cummings. She's joining OnlyFans under a pact with the company. She's going to be producing a new original show, the Unfiltered Original Roast Series. It's going to be exclusive. It's going to be exclusively available on OFTV, which I guess is OnlyFans' free streaming platform and app. And so I guess they're getting into the original programming here. And Whitney Cummings herself will be the first roastee of this uncensored series. Yeah. So she'll have this OnlyFans page. You won't be getting, the expected photos that a lot of OnlyFans accounts have, but instead you're going to be getting this series and uninhibited comedy bits and current events and whatever else is on her mind. This material might be warped out of context on other platforms. So the subscription is going to be $10 a month for Whitney Cummings unfiltered comedy.
So, but hang on, I just have to go to the headline. Is this the headline from Variety?
That is,
that's hilarious.
That's real.
You know what's funny?
It's an exclusive.
Yeah. What's funny is that like OnlyFans was meant to be like the subscription service, not just for nude photos. And now you have to like almost say that you're not, not gonna.
No, it's not that. It's not that. No.
Yeah. So, how is this any different than like just a comedian doing like Patreon?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Why can't this live on Patreon? I guess because they want to have.
I
guess because OnlyFans wants to fund it. I guess is the difference.
Yeah,
is that
like
it? It's
dirty
just that's where the money's
jokes.
coming from. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a quote here from Whitney says, quote, "I want to experiment with jokes. I love the idea of writing and performing in incendiary."
She's a comedian and she likes to experiment with jokes? What?
It's pretty revolutionary.
Wow.
But yeah, and she said, and talk about what is happening right now. On Twitter, people will take it out of context. And I got to ask here, right here. Okay. What is the? Oh, they're going to take this stuff out of context on Twitter. We can't. Are they going to take it
Have
out
you
of
seen
context
Twitter?
on OnlyFans?
I know. I know.
And also, maybe if they're going to take it out of context, maybe you shouldn't be tweeting it or OnlyFanning it or doing anything with it. Maybe it shouldn't be out there if people are going to say, "Oh no." But no, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want on OnlyFans, but on Twitter, no.
Maybe it's, I don't know. I thought when you were first describing it, it sounded like Tosh.0 or that Rob Dyrdek show, but for like dirty jokes. Like now I can make crude and rude jokes that they wouldn't be able to on like Comedy Central or, but I don't know. That's what it sounded like to me. But she's going to be the first roastee. So she's going to be willing to be roasted by other.
Well, yeah, I guess it's her series. So it's going to be probably like, but again, it's like, that's the Comedy Central roast series that they do.
Yeah.
But now it's on OnlyFans. So it's like they're getting into like original programming that's not too original.
But also you have to
she can be like tweeting quote unquote jokes, and that's worth $10 a month.
Yeah.
Just to get her personal jokes.
I don't know. But first off, that is way too much. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've only heard some of Whitney Cummings stuff. I'm not a huge fan, but you're asking $10. $10
for jokes?
I know. I mean, HBO Max is what? It's crazy.
Ad-free version of OnlyFans for a cheaper price, but
ad-free
or whatever. An ad
Oh
tier.
my God. Who would be advertising on that?
I don't know. But yeah, I wonder if this is going to be the start of something here. Are comedians going to follow suit, especially, with everything going on in Twitter? That's a whole other separate podcast. It's like, oh, maybe, they're going to leave Twitter because they don't want to pay somebody $8 a month to tell their jokes. Oh, I can get $10 from people instead. Okay, I'll do that. I can make money instead of spending money to get an audience. And I saw this crazy stat. So, I mean, OnlyFans keeps 20% of the revenue and gives the other 80% to creators. So I guess she will be getting the $8 that she could then spend on a Twitter account. But then I saw in 2021, OnlyFans grossed $4.8 billion in gross revenue. So they're not messing around. This is a big operation.
They have a ton of money. I mean, I know of some of those OnlyFans creators, like even like the celebrity ones, they've showed like how much they make, and it's so much
Millions
money,
a
dude.
month. Like
I
millions
know
a month.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Didn't like this is not the same thing, but like Kevin from like The Office make like over $1 million or something from like Cameo.
Yeah.
Like he's
Probably.
just
Talking about
he's
that.
making millions off of just doing
That has to
cameos.
be the most soulless thing ever, though.
Just
Oh my
wishing people
God.
happy birthdays.
I
and-
know.
Yeah.
At $100 a pop, $300 a pop, or whatever.
Oh my.
Oh
You probably
my
you have to say
God.
the exact same thing.
Same
every single-
thing.
Hey, it's your buddy Kevin from The Office. You know, okay.
Yeah.
Remember the chili bit? Okay, here we go. Happy birthday. But-
Yeah, that's gotta be soul crushing after a while.
Well, all right. We're going from one comedian to two others. We spoke back in February, I think it was episode 372, about how Pete Davidson and Colin Jost, they bought a boat. They bought a retired Staten Island ferry, and they're going to turn it into kind of like a night spot, you know, maybe for comedy, for concerts, like events, stuff like that. But got some bad news. It's got asbestos and cockroaches. So, oh boy.
Well, you gotta renovate it, I guess.
You got to renovate, I guess.
You gotta renovate it.
And this is according to ex-crew members, including Captain Kevin Hennessy. Their boat, which is the John F. Kennedy Staten Island ferry, it entered service in 1965, and that they used asbestos and stuff like that. And that was a common building material during that time. So it's definitely the boat is built with that everywhere. And not only that, he said that all these boats, all of them have just cockroach issues. And it was especially bad, he said, for the John F. Kennedy boat. So,
Oh my God. Well, you could just, I don't know, try and bomb it somehow, exterminate it, something.
Yeah, but you're on the water. Like, think of where all those chemicals are going. Like, do you
Yeah,
need to pull it
that's
into a
true.
dry dock to do that? Like, I don't know.
I don't
That's a
know.
tough one.
yeah. And then he also said that the ship's engine room had a fire last year, and that when they bought it, the engine was still smoking and sputtering. So this
Oh,
thing,
no.
no wonder. I think it was only like they bought it for like $280K. Like it wasn't like, I mean, for like a ferry like that seems like a good deal. Like okay,
Yeah, I
But-
mean, what do? You just like ransack it, just absolutely demolish everything in it, take out the roaches somehow. Asbestos, you just hope you're not part of a mesothelioma commercial or something in the future. And you know, when people are partying, hopped up on rave glue or
Asbestos,
whatever
yeah.
they're on, yeah, they won't mind. Probably.
This is going to turn into that McDonald's barge from over in, I think it was Europe. They built a McDonald's on a barge for like a World Trade Show or something, and it just like is abandoned, just like sitting there on a dock somewhere. It's like literally
That's
like you could just go
hilarious.
see it. It's just like a boat that has like, you know, old McDonald's stuff on it. This is what this is going to be.
Old MacDonald had a ship. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
wonder- yeah.
man.
For some reason, all I could think of right now is somehow Pete Davidson like driving this thing and blocking like the Suez Canal or something.
Oh my
Like,
God.
Bumping into Statue of
But
Liberty.
can we say this is going to be a stupid joke, but
uh-oh.
something
Wait,
that
save it for
Yeah,
OnlyFans.
$10.
yeah. Something that Pete Davidson buys. I mean, the guy looks like a roach. So can we say that?
Oh,
It's
come on. Come on.
No, I
not-
like
it's-
I
it's
like
not-
Pete Davidson.
This
I
is
like Pete
the,
Davidson.
I don't.
He looks
unfiltered
like a human-
OnlyFans roast series here, Kyle.
He looks like a human garbage dump.
Wow, okay.
But I mean,
How dare you talk
I mean,
about
In
Staten
a
Island
good
that
way.
yeah, the ladies love him. He's very funny,
Yeah,
dude.
the
What's
ladies do
wrong?
love him.
I'm the garbage human, but he
Hmm.
looks like I don't know. I don't know if it's what it is. The
Yeah.
tattoos or the Crohn's disease or what it is.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So I mentioned that the boat was purchased for like $280K. They're saying that the repairs, at least from these crew members, could cost like millions, according. So it's just like,
But I mean, if you, I don't know what nightlife is gonna have. Like, who's like, yeah, we're gonna go to the Staten Island Ferry. But maybe if they can make it a thing, I don't know.
yeah. But according, so when they purchased this, it was the two of them, and there was a third person who was a comedy club owner, and he says this is all garbage information, but he did say he received an estimate of the work, and there has to be work there's a lot of work that has to be done. When asked for the amount, he also refused to say what the amount was.
Yeah,
So,
surprise.
yeah, so he's like, oh yeah, this is all garbage, but I do got to get a lot of work done. Oh, how much? You don't need to worry about it. But well, we're gonna have to wait and see when we can barge the Staten Island ferry and party with Pete and Colin here. But
Yeah, man. If they do get it up and rolling, I bet it becomes a huge thing. That's the
Yeah.
crazy part about all this. I think it becomes probably huge.
we'll do a live dual redundancy in like the basement closet with all the roaches and
With all the asbestos.
yeah, it'll be half off.
And then we'll be in a
Price.
commercial. Have you ever done a podcast in the
You
bottom
attended
of
a
a barge?
podcast.
The
Yeah.
bow of a boat full of asbestos.
Oh my God. All right. We got one last in and out point tonight to talk about, and it's just an update dealing with Netflix. A couple episodes ago, episode 403, we discussed the details about Netflix's ad tier plan, basic with ads. Well, it was just launched last week, so we have some more details, seeing how things are going. This $6.99 tier, of course, includes ads, about 4 to 5 minutes of commercials per hour. And those ads will range from 15 to 30 seconds in length. But in that podcast, we spoke about how some of these programs that are going to have ads, we'll have them throughout the episode, whether it's at the beginning, at the end, in the middle there. But then there's some titles, about 5 to 10% of the Netflix titles won't be available at all on this tier plan. And now we know what those titles are. I'm going to read through a list here just to give you a sense of what is missing on Basic with Ads. You got Arrested Development, House of Cards, Peaky Blinders, New Girl, The Sinner, Good Girls, Queen of the South, Friday Night Lights. For movies, I'll just read through a few more. Casino Royale, Skyfall, Morbius, Sing 2, Vice, Phantom Thread, The Hateful Eight, Rambo. So it's a mix of all this different stuff here. Drama, comedy, new stuff, old stuff. Any surprises here, Kyle, with you that's like what's missing on the ad plan from Netflix?
I mean, I'm not surprised at all. It's just like I'm guessing the stuff that people want to watch is not going to be on there, or maybe even some of their premium content that they want you to watch. They're going to try and get you to buy more. I'm also surprised that you can't download on the basic with ads. That stinks too.
I'm not surprised with that because it's just like they're gonna make
you
it
don't want people
the
skipping
worst
the ads. I
experience,
get it. Yeah.
Why are they not just serving more ads for these things? Like, you know what I mean? Like make it worth your dollar. Like, double the ads or whatever. If people want to watch it, they'll watch it. If not, they won't.
Well, the issue with these shows, it's very confusing because a lot of these are actually like licensed stuff out. Like, okay, it makes sense. Okay, New Girl, they're not gonna have ads because it's not New Girl doesn't have it. So like Fox is like, no, wait, no, we let you have this when there was no ads. Now you're gonna make money, ad revenue off of our show? No way. But then you think about, okay, House of Cards, Arrested Development, these shows that like were Netflix originals, at least, a couple seasons of Arrested. And I guess it's just because of licensing deals. House of Cards is actually a licensed show. As much as we think of it as a Netflix show, it's a licensed show that like it's different from like I guess Stranger Things, which they like fully own, like it's fully theirs. Like they probably did this in partnership when it was like an early show, but it's like it's just wild because it's like, for better or worse, Netflix, when you think of it, you probably think of Stranger Things, but you think of House of Cards. Like that is one of their top shows. And so that's where it's like interesting, where it's not on this plan. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's just old deals. But then I also saw like, a 2022 series. There's a show called Uncoupled with Neil Patrick Harris. That's also not available. It's like, well, shouldn't that be here? I mean, this was just this summer you launched it. I mean, you didn't think you were going to have ads 2 months later, 3 months later. So that's where it's just interesting. And I just think like, while these are, let's see what the word is, like this is a setback with these shows. I wonder if it's actually going to hurt us later on, like the consumer, where okay, well, maybe some of our shows that are Netflix originals won't be on this ad tier, like whether it's like Squid Game season 2 or Stranger Things season 5 or 6 or whatever it is. It's like those are exclusive now to whatever, the premium plan or the, the Ultra HD plan. You can't get those shows on the basic with ad plan.
Or what
That's
about
where
the
I get starting to
opposite?
get worried about.
What about the opposite, where Netflix is like, oh, we can't run the ads on this. We're not going to get it at all. Where, higher tiers just don't get
Yeah.
other content
Yeah.
from other platforms because Netflix doesn't want to deal with the split.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is also angering, many of the creators now, including Shonda Rhimes was one of them. She has, of course, a Netflix original series of Bridgerton, as well as older stuff on Netflix, like Grey's Anatomy. And she's unhappy with these mid-roll advertising, commercials disrupting the storytelling, because sure, Grey's Anatomy was produced for ABC, has commercial breaks, but Bridgerton was not. Now there's just like random commercials, thrown in the middle. And it's like, in not
How
only
are they
that,
chopping it up? Yeah.
they're not only ruining the creative, but you also have to be like, well, the creators are like, I'm not seeing any of this ad revenue. I'm not seeing any of this money. It's like, and this, our deals, when back 2 years ago, when you said there's never going to be ads on Netflix, these aren't in the contracts, probably, at least for a lot of people. So it's just like, if this was a thing, maybe I would have asked for it or, negotiated for it.
Yeah.
And I saw a thing with some other producers from Intrepid Pictures, like a Mike Flanagan here, who, of course, did Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass. And there's a famous episode of Hill House that was designed to be all in one take. Well, now it's interrupted by 3 1-minute long commercial breaks in there. And that just completely just ruins that whole experience of that episode.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll have to wait and see if there's any more issues. It seems, though, it seems to be at least working. I haven't heard of any, like, crashes or anything like that. So it seems to be working. It's just, people are missing some content, and, some creators are getting mad.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear how many subscribers they're getting just on that tier.
Well,
but who knows if they'll release that information.
They don't release anything.
Yeah, unless it's good, and then they'll spin it in a way like, yeah, it's like 50% more than our normal Tuesday on it's like, what? How can I decipher that? But all right, that is Netflix. We should talk about another streaming channel, because they got a movie coming up. It's going to be a holiday movie, and we're going to talk about it in coming attractions.
Here are some exciting coming attractions.
All right, Spirited. It's going to drop on November 18th on Apple TV Plus. I believe it might come out in theaters. I think it's like this Friday, like actually in theaters for like a week, and then it'll be on Apple TV Plus. So each Christmas Eve, the ghost of Christmas Present, played by Will Ferrell, selects one dark soul to be reformed by a visit from the 3 spirits. But this season, he picked the wrong Scrooge. Clint Briggs, who's played by Ryan Reynolds, turns the table on the ghostly host until Present finds himself re-examining his own past, present, and future. All right, here, we saw the trailer. That's all we're basing this off of, a 2-minute trailer. Let's get our thoughts here. John, gonna check out Spirited?
Probably, because I have a feeling we're going to discuss it at some point.
No?
All right,
I
then
think
no.
We're going to be off, thankfully.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan, so unless I hear that it's like doing spectacular, I can miss this one.
Yeah, so Kyle, can I get you tickets now? Or are you going to wait for Apple TV Plus?
Well, I'm certainly going to wait for Apple TV Plus, if anything. But I think it's an interesting take on like an old story, and they kind of make jokes about that in the trailer. So, I mean, at least it's like aware of what it's doing. I do like Will Ferrell. I think people are going to be excited for him to come back to like a holiday movie. Dude, I like Ryan Reynolds, but he's a one-trick pony, man. He's like, every comedy is the same type of comedy, and every character is the same type of character. It's like, dude, can you do something different?
You could dub these lines over a Deadpool thing, in the costume where you can't see his mouth, and it would work. It's just, I'm going to be a little bit of a Scrooge here, and I'm going to be like, yeah, this one ain't for me. I like Will Ferrell too, but Ryan Reynolds is playing Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing here. And there was so much snark and sarcasm in just those 2 minutes. I don't think I could make it through a 90-minute or 2 hour or whatever this is.
I totally get that.
Yeah, so that was already like when the trailer started and it was like the first like 10-15 seconds and it was oh my god, all right. Just exhausting. And then yeah, but
So
and then I will
you guys feel that way about Ryan Reynolds and not about Will Ferrell?
Well, Will Ferrell, I feel like at least comes up with some different types of characters.
Yeah,
at
because you
least
got like
A
whether
little
it's Ricky,
bit,
Ricky Bobby versus Ron Burgundy versus Elf, like they're all at least, sure they're these man-child like kind of character, but like there's at least
some differentiation.
I guess.
Yeah.
He could do some physical comedy. He can do some, improv here and there. I just feel like there's just I'm not getting much. Ryan Reynolds is always going to be the cool guy, like with the sarcasm and I will say, I also thought, you have to see if I'm wrong here. I only watched it on a laptop, but the effects kind of looked rough for me. I don't know. I noticed like when they were like gliding on the coat rack through the skyline or whatever it was, I'm like, this looks bad. And then I realized like it wasn't just that, it was like wide shots of like the street, and it just feels such like a Hollywood set. Like this is set and in the background is a green screen that they made it seem like it was deeper than it was.
Yeah.
It just seems everything feels like on a set. And
well, I just think in general, the graphics with how much content is being made and the visual artists aren't there to there's just too much work being piled onto them, and everything. And now the deadlines are so much sooner. It's like everything is just looks like absolute trash.
Yeah. It's such a tight turnaround on these things. And I think in the trailer they were trying to like hide it because like no shot was more than like 1 or 2 seconds. It was just like, wait, it was just like I couldn't. It was like slow down trailer. I can't figure out what's going on. Who's that? Like it was just moving way too fast. It was like 2 minutes, but and I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously, a past dancer, so I'm up for these big musical dance numbers in Hollywood films, but I couldn't even tell really what was going on in it, at least from the trailer, because it was again moving so fast. And like, are they gonna make just like fun of it? Like, it seemed like halfway through the dance number, it's like, oh, we're dancing, and like commenting on it. Like, what kind of thing is this movie? Is it like a parody of those type of musical numbers, or are they doing like a sincere holiday movie with song and dance? I can't tell.
I think eventually it will be like the heart will come into this movie, but again, I think it's based on the trailer. I think it's more making fun of this.
So I'm gonna pass on this one. This is what is a good thing about the coming attraction segment, where we get to say our thoughts by just watching 2 minutes of something instead of spending an hour and a half fully watching it. And
well, I'm not really this might be a hot take. I'm not really a holiday movie type of person, anyways.
Don't say that. Our next podcast.
Yeah, literally our next podcast. It's gonna be a holiday movie.
I know, but that's just yeah.
And it's gonna be Spirited. No, just kidding. No, don't worry about it. It won't be that. But we do have a movie, not a holiday movie, and we're gonna spend the rest of the podcast talking about it, breaking it down. In order to talk about it, send us back.
Back in time.
We're back, baby.
Gotta get back in time.
Weird. The Al Yankovic story. This biographical film about the parody artist Weird Al is fittingly a parody of musical biopics where Daniel Radcliffe stars as Al in a movie very loosely based on Al's life. So we all saw this movie on the Roku channel. We got a lot of thoughts. We'll talk big picture. We'll talk about the characters, the humor, everything about it. But just initially, John, your thoughts on Weird Al, and also tell me if you're a Weird Al fan just in general, because I feel like I remember hearing you were.
Yeah, I am a Weird Al fan. I remember listening to several of his discs growing up, but I thought it was okay. I think if I had paid money to see it in the theater, maybe I'd be a little, but for a free thing that they made for, for everyone to enjoy for free, yeah, it was all right. I mean, I could see what they were heading for. I could see, the jokes coming, but they were still good. I could see where they're parodying other shows, but it was still good. Yeah, it was all right.
All right. And Kyle, do you agree with that assessment? Are you a Weird Al hater?
I am not a Weird Al hater. I enjoy some of the parodies he's done. I'm not like a huge fan, but I can appreciate it. I think it's a little silly. As far as the movie goes, I felt like it was good. It was good. It was like John said. I thought it was fun, and it was fine for a free kind of movie. Didn't really have to pay for it. But I just think like we've already seen it before. Like it was the Dewey Cox story again, which is fine. And like they're also kind of doing like the documentary now thing. But they did it well. I found myself what I would say about this movie is how I feel about Weird Al, the songs is like, okay, this is funny and clever, but I'm not laughing. It's more like I'm just smiling, like, okay, I see what you did there. Okay, I see what you did there. And so it wasn't really a lot of laugh out loud stuff. It was more just like, oh, that's funny. That's clever. That's clever. So that's how I was kind of going through the movie. It was like, oh, okay, that was clever. I like what they did there. And I think they did all the things of making fun of those music movie tropes, all those things that you see in those biopics. They did all that stuff very, very well. But again, it's just like, oh, okay. It's like a tip of the cap. It's more than anything.
Yeah, it was almost like an elongated Funny or Die thing, which is actually what this is based off of. There was a 2010 trailer, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. And I watched it after the fact. I'm like, oh, this is the same movie. Like they literally the same main beats from the Roku version is what we saw in 2010. And it almost feels at points like this was 2010, movie. Like as you were saying, we've seen this before in Dewey Cox, which was like what, 2007, 2008. It's like because it hits all those beats again, and some of them, they add a little clever twist to it, but overall, it was good. It just wasn't like hilariously like home run comedy film. One thing that this film does, because obviously Dewey Cox, at least I believe, is a completely fake fictional person.
Yeah.
This obviously is a real person, but majority of the stuff here is fake. And the director said that the film would involve absolutely no research on Al's actual life. Quote, it was basically us taking like all of our favorite tropes from biopics and just it's really satirizing the entire biopic genre. Not just rock biopics like The Doors or Walk the Line or Bohemian Rhapsody. It's also Boogie Nights and Forrest Gump, like fictional biopics as well. They all sort of follow the same storyline template. And it was us kind of deconstructing that and then putting it back together in the most weird, surprising way. So,
yeah. And I would say based on that description, they did all those things with like the family dynamics is just over the top, family dynamics, and right from the start, it's clever. It's just not like laugh out loud funny.
And I almost wish they could have like gone further with it. I felt the first half was weird, and obviously the second half when they were like doing the John Wick diner fight that leads to the Rambo jungle Pablo Escobar finale. That was obviously nuts, but I feel like the middle was pretty standard biopic, like paint by numbers. Because it hit all the standard stuff. You have like the open with like the narrator, probably wondering how I got here, and the flashback to
obviously
before.
with a narrator that sounds nothing like Weird Al, which is
and the narrator who like goes away like after for the middle of the movie and then comes back at the end. And then
that wasn't Daniel Radcliffe, right? That was somebody else.
No.
I didn't think it was, but it's one of those ones where it's like, can he do that voice? Like. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we'll talk about his voice and his singing voice in a
Yeah.
little bit, but you also have like the music exec who's like played by someone who like really capitalized on said music, that hating that music. Like we had Mike Myers in Bohemian Rhapsody being like, nobody will bop their head to this song in a
Yeah.
car, and obviously Wayne's World there, and then obviously you have Weird Al saying the same thing to Weird Al, and so you have all those beats. But what I liked with this, at least, like the songs really like were like shoehorned in to further the story. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, the dad is Amish because I need to get to Amish
Yeah.
paradise. Like you have to get to that.
Yeah.
Or it's very like any other thing you would roll your eyes to it. And this was like one of the issues I had with like later day Glee when that was on, where it was like the first season or two, it's like, oh, you have a story, and then you're using the songs to just kind of further it a little bit. But then by season 2 or 3, they're like, you know what? This is a very popular song right now, and we can make a lot of money on those iTunes downloads. So let's just kind of shoehorn in this very popular song into this and write a story around that. And that's when it goes off the rails. But yeah, I will say some of the stuff that like never happened though really, really, still made me like, their whole relationship with Madonna. Completely fake.
It was just so absurd and over the top. And like Madonna is the evil arch villain in the whole thing, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, and then like the ending where she like pretty much he's assassinated at an awards show in 1985. Clearly not true. And then it's like Madonna still at large. And then you even have like the Marvel like end credits tag of like they're at the tombstone and like the zombie hand. I'm back. I'm coming back for the sequel.
Yeah.
Small thing. I loved on the tombstone. I don't know if you saw it. It said like born whatever year, and then it said ate it with the year 19. Just like that. It actually leads to also like a good runner in the movie where that eat it was 100%
the original. Yeah.
The original, and then Michael Jackson parodied him with beat it.
Yeah.
Just oh my god. So I guess while we're talking about like those kind of humorous moments, any funny jokes or scenes that like stood out to you guys and made you chuckle more than smile?
Oh man, there was just so many absurd, ridiculous things. The guy's freaking out, and he's like, "I'm literally getting chills," and it was for My Bologna, and he's like, "I'm literally getting chills." What?
I love that because like it was supposed to be because the audience knows where this is going. Where it's like, oh, can you go make a sandwich? And it's like, oh, Steve, can I use your bologna? And then it's just like, and then the song's playing My Sharona, and it's like skipping 15 times and just over again, and it's taking him that long to like figure out the song. It's like, what is it? The DJ asleep? Like, what's going on? Finally, he figures it out.
But also, all those guys just randomly start to know how to play music. They're like, he needs some help, and they all know how to play the exact instrument.
It's like, why didn't you tell us? I also love like in the beginning where he yells at his dad, like, I'm gonna be the best polka player, and then he's like, well, actually not the best because that's so and so, but I'll be the most famous accordion player in a very specific genre of music. And then like later we have the award for the most famous accordion player in a very specific genre of music. It's like but yeah, that, and I think my last moment I'll bring up is they're at the pool party, the bass player from Queen is asking him, there's a little event coming up, would you like to play with Queen at Live Aid? And there's like this pause, and you just hear him go, hard pass. It's just dumb.
Man. I do like a lot of the cameos though that they had in it.
Yeah, we could talk about some of the cameos. For me, like, because at this pool party there were so many like famous faces of like musicians and art people, and the one that really stole the show for me, I think, was Conan O'Brien. He was barely, it was like 2-3 shots of him, but just the simple reaction shot of him as Andy Warhol playing that like weird instrument, and another one rides the bus, just like made me lose it. Just like the face, the determination on his face is just.
I like Jack Black.
Oh, Jack Black, yeah.
What was he playing? Wolfman Jack or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. He was funny.
Yeah, John, were you sad that Freddie Mercury wasn't there? Instead, we got the bassist from Queen.
It just that felt like a weird choice. I mean, it worked, but like, they were.
There's some behind the scenes stuff with this. Supposedly, to I guess allow them to use the song and Everyone Rides the Bus in the movie here. I guess maybe you probably had to renegotiate maybe with Queen or something to use this song. They pretty much said to Weird Al in the film, you can't mention Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
They weren't allowed to
okay.
mention Freddie. If you want to use this song, you can't mention him. They're very protective, it seems like. After Bohemian Rhapsody and the whole Sacha Baron Cohen thing, it's like they're very protective of.
Didn't they make fun of it though? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah,
weren't they like?
Yeah, no one knew who he was.
Because I think that's what they were doing. Because it's like, oh, they could pick anyone from, Queen except for Freddie Mercury. So it's like, let's just pick like the bass player because nobody knows the bass player except for John probably. But, yeah. Any other cameos? Any other people stood out to you guys?
I did like was it Rainn Wilson? Is that his name?
Well, it's okay. We could talk. Yeah, Rainn Wilson. I mean,
As
he was Dr. Demento here.
I thought he did well. I mean, I haven't seen him. Like, I remember seeing him in that one show on Amazon Prime. What was it called? The comic book one.
Oh yeah, like it was
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, it was like that. It was a comic book, like end of the world, like
yeah, it was like dystopic.
thing.
Yeah,
damn.
But
Utopia.
Yeah, Utopia. But I thought he was great in this. I thought he was really good.
I was like, I there was points where I couldn't like fully connect with him. I mean, it's a very tough character to play. The guy is just this Dr. Demento, just right there. He's wearing a top hat at all times. It's like it's hard to make it a believable character.
Of course.
But what's interesting with this though is he was like very like a last minute casting because, as I mentioned, this is based on the 2010 Funny or Die short. And I rewatched it and it really follows the movie very, very closely. Like all the beats, like even like the dad wearing the Hawaiian shirt underneath the work uniform, the Madonna character, everything's in there. But in that version, Patton Oswalt is Dr. Demento. And he was supposed to reprise his role for this film, but the film actually had a very tight, like 18-day schedule. They shot this thing in 18 days. And Patton ended up breaking his foot. So he wasn't able to, fully commit to this. So they let him, they do the cameo as the bar heckler there.
Yeah.
But initially, that was going to actually be the 2010 Weird Al actor, Aaron Paul. But he got COVID during the same shoot. So it was just the whole thing where Aaron Paul was supposed to be the heckler, but he couldn't do it. Patton Oswalt was supposed to be this. Oh, he couldn't do it. So let's put now him in that role. And there's a lot of like moving around. But yeah, so it's just
I will say the overall comedy of just like everyone jamming out to these parody songs is just so ridiculous the entire time.
Rocky like at the biker bar there.
Yeah, it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
That is just flat out just so dumb. But it's funny.
Yeah, so we haven't even really talked about Daniel Radcliffe. I thought he was very good.
I did too.
It again, Weird Al is a very iconic performer, very iconic look. I thought he had a lot of fun with it. And I want to ask you what you guys thought about him obviously not doing the vocals. We have Al dubbed over Daniel Radcliffe. Any thoughts on this there, John?
I don't know if I've ever heard Daniel Radcliffe sing. Like I don't know.
He's a good singer. I can't remember. There was my fiance said saw him in some project, some movie or something else, and I guess he's a good singer, but I don't know if he has the Weird Al voice.
I wonder if it's more of a time thing. I mean, if they were shooting it in 18 days for him to learn the songs and do multiple takes, where they can just grab the originals that Weird Al did for his albums and just slap them in there, and lip sync. That in my mind, that's probably why they did that, is just for keeping it quick and keeping it concise.
I honestly think they probably could have done it for comedic effect, because honestly, some of the times the dubbing wasn't great, and I thought it was more so done as like a joke because it's clearly not him singing. So is
It
it?
could be. It's like
Part of the joke,
because it's also it's like in the beginning it was like the inspiration, like, oh, where did that come from? Oh, it just came over me. Like, so maybe it was like a voice like inside him, something, or it's like another kind of biopic gag where it's like Rami Malek didn't do Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, so it's like, yeah, that's just what they do in biopics. They hire an actor and they just lip sync. But yeah, trying to think of any other of the cast I want to talk about. I mean, I thought Evan Rachel Wood was also very good as Madonna. I thought she did it. Like, I'm not too familiar with all of her work, but from her past projects like on Westworld, completely just different performance here. And,
dude, she's been around forever. She's in even like her starring role in when she first started in 13 is crazy. Ugh. She's really she's been around. She's good.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit maybe about the Roku of it all, the Roku experience.
Oh
yeah. So how was being able to find this and watch it and stream it and stuff like that? Any issues, Kyle, with watching it on the Roku channel?
I mean, I didn't have any problems. I will say and I don't know if this was something with my laptop and the TV. I tried to AirPlay it from my laptop to my TV and it did not work. It like would not show up.
I had an issue with that at first too. I did try doing it for my phone and
so I just watched it on my laptop, which was fine. But it would have been nice to AirPlay it. And the player worked fine. A lot of commercials, a lot of promo stuff for their own stuff. They made it, at least they made it easy to get to. Like I even Google search like Weird Al Roku channel and it popped right up. But I will say when I first was looking, I was looking for just Roku and not realizing that Roku channel was different, because now when they were advertising, it felt weird to me that they're like trying to sell like light bulbs and like other stuff, but then they're also a streaming service. It was just so weird. It's like, what are you guys doing? Is everybody just want some content so that they have eyeballs somewhere? I don't understand this.
Yeah. For me, it was, I liked how, at least at first, you could go on like whatever web browser and just type it in, and you didn't have to like log in. It was just free. It was there, and it was streaming. Yeah, I had the issue with the AirPlay on mine, and then we have this old Roku stick from another apartment before we moved here, and it took us like 20 minutes because like we had to like reset the device and then start it back up and sync it up to this. I'm like, come on, I just want to watch this movie. Just like it was so hard. John, any issues with you with the Roku?
No, I generally watch stuff on my computer, so I didn't have to cast it to anything. I mean, that being said, HDCP, which is like copyright protection stuff, has been a big fight for everybody forever. So I'm kind of not surprised that you guys had issues with that. But no, it works fine on the computer, and lots of ads and
the ads. I really wish that we could have done something. Obviously, I can't complain too much. I saw the movie for free. But like, I wish there was a way to like do it commercial free, like whether it was like a free trial of something or like
watch ads at the start.
Yeah, watch ads at the start.
Yeah,
because like it was, it was fine. In the
it was
beginning,
frequent too.
It was like a 30-second thing in the beginning. Okay, sure, but then it got more and more frequent, and then by the end, it was like a 2-minute block of commercials, and it's just like it really, I think, interrupted the flow. As we were talking with the Netflix ad tier, there's points where it's like, because at points I'm like, is this almost like the commercial in a Talladega Nights? You're watching the car wreck, and let's cut to commercial, and it was an Applebee's commercial, and then like, is this part of the movie? Like, it was just so abrupt and out of nowhere. But I will say also, I felt like you could definitely tell I had the Roku budget. It sounded like 18 days. And during that LSD trip there, the visual effects were all over the place. But I guess they spent $8 million on this production.
Wow.
So it went somewhere.
But do we think? I mean, somebody is lying to us. They paid $8 million for this. Are they gonna make that back? I don't know how.
That's why they're running so many ads.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna
They
make
must
8 million
make
from
way
this.
more. It must make way more money streaming or having some kind of content. I don't know why else these companies would be doing it. Somebody's got to be making crazy amounts of money and they are lying to everyone else because something's going on here. This is crazy.
Yeah, maybe they're in it for the awards recognition here. This may get Roku an Emmy, much to the displeasure of Al, who wanted that Oscar. At the very end, they have to another kind of parody of the biopic. There was the end credits for your consideration Oscar song, and Al wrote the song "Now You Know," which has a lyric, and the song is technically eligible for Oscar consideration. But unfortunately, Roku was unwilling to give it the 1 week theatrical release to become Oscar eligible. Instead, they want to submit it at the Emmys. And Weird Al said, quote, "I don't agree with this logic, but they say they're in the TV business, not the movie business. So they would rather have a creative arts Emmy than an Oscar, is what I was told." So again, feels like weird logic to me, but I have to accept that. I don't hold any grudges. I mean, I'm just thankful the movie got made.
Well, do we think this thing could win any Oscars at all?
It's eligible.
The
Or
only
it would
one
be.
is the best song. Maybe it really depends on the year, because there's one of my favorite best song wins was in a year that there was only like 2 nominees, one from an animated film, and then the other one was the winner, which was from The Muppets, which was the
Oh.
Flight of the Conchords, Man or Muppet.
Well,
So like you could get
I
something like
guess,
that,
maybe.
but like the other times, if you look at the last few, it's like, okay, is there a Bond movie? All right, there's the Oscar winner. What's he like? Then again, I'm looking at it. 2019's it was "I'm Gonna Love Me Again" by from Rocket Man. So the biopic, the musical biopic there. So
But I mean, it is the Roku channel.
yeah,
I mean, they did make a movie, but it really is like a
it is
TV
true.
movie more so than
It is true.
I don't know.
It's all those lines get judged or blurred because it's like, yeah, you got Apple TV Plus, they compete some things
Yeah.
at the Emmys, but nope, this is but
Yep.
all right. What's next for the Roku channel? I mean, they got the library of Quibi leftovers that you can watch. And it looks like they have a lot of like fast channels from different other networks you can do. Maybe you could just watch the Roku City screensaver. And I saw this New York Times article last week about how everyone loves the Roku City screensaver. They were just saying how
What?
much they love it, and they'll just put it on instead of actual programming. Like, what's this saying that like people would
Yeah,
rather watch the
what?
screensaver than your originals?
What in the world? Oh my God.
People are like imagining what would it be like to live in Roku City there, because obviously you have like the
You have a
Avengers
giant
Tower.
robot in the back.
You got a giant robot. You got the Back to the Future clock tower. You have like all these things here and there mixed together. Maybe this could be their next IP, like some animated adventure going through the streets of Roku City.
Oh my God.
Pack your bags. We're moving to Roku City from the New York Times.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. But oh my God, I think we've covered everything we can cover with Roku and Weird Al, and I think that's probably one of the last times we'll talk about Roku channel for a while, until Weird 2, even weirder. But all right, that's it for this week. Our next live show is going to be a big one. We're going to talk about the 30th anniversary of Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. It'll be on November 21st. Kyle loves his holiday movies, and we got Home Alone 2 here to enjoy. The Wet Bandits or Sticky Bandits or whatever they are, they're going to be back on the pod. That's their names, Marv and Harry. You guys are going to have to rewatch it to remember all the details, because we're going to break it all down. If you need a refresher, we are going to do a little special like restream of one of our favorite movie breakdowns, and that's the original Home Alone. We did that back in 2020. So next week we won't be live, we won't be new, but we will be airing this Home Alone recap during our Monday night time slot. So then that way you are all refreshed and ready for that Home Alone 2 live show we'll do the week after. Let's see here. I got one last thing to promote. I don't know if you guys have been noticing on the Twitch stream here, a special t-shirt with the logo. If you like it, if you like the threads, we have this new merch store that Gearomatic is hosting. We got some shirts, some stickers, some mugs. We'll have some more stuff soon, but this can get you started on some Dual Redundancy merch. The best way to probably find it is our link tree, which is in the show notes. You can click on the link there for that. I gotta thank both you guys for joining me tonight, for John directing the show as usual, Kyle always with those hot takes. Some of them would definitely will get us canceled at some point. Let's see.
They're not that bad.
Yeah, but you can find all those takes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, dualredundancy.com, of course, live Monday nights on Twitch, twitch.tv/dualredundancy, 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can follow us on Instagram for sure. And we'll see about Twitter. But until next time, I'm David Allen.
John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy. Goodbye, everybody.